Students, welcome to one more session of tourism finance. So in our last few classes, we have discussed about the various sources of finance. So to be precise, we have discussed the long-term sources of finance and we have started spontaneous and negotiated finance, which come under short-term sources of finance. So we'll continue with our remaining topics in short-term finances of business. Okay, so today we'll discuss about secured or asset-based loans. So as this name suggests, and in my last class I had given you a brief introduction about this, secured loans are those which are secured by some type of an asset. Means a asset may be pledged to get a loan. Now as it is a short-term loan, here the assets secured also are short-term. So just we'll do a brief recap about what are assets, fixed assets and current assets or short-term assets. So fixed assets means those assets which are bought for use and which will stay in the business for a longer period of time, more than 1 year. So to be precise, such type of assets include land, building, uh, plant, machinery, furniture, etc. Okay, so such type of loans, such type of assets are bought by long-term loans or by own funds. They are never bought by taking a short-term loan or by scratching your credit card. Okay, so when you want a short-term fund, you take a loan on, you secure it with a short-term asset. So what are short-term assets? Those assets which keep on changing its form within a couple months, max 1 year. So for example, inventory. Inventory means those goods, finished products, which you have kept it ready in your warehouse for sale. Then when you sell your inventory, some people give cash, some people say I want credit, means I will delay my payment. So when the goods are sold and money is not got, so such type of people who are about to give you money in the coming days, we call them as debtors or accounts receivable. Okay, so accounts receivable, inventory, cash in bank, cash in hand, advance from clients, such type of assets are called as short-term assets. So we'll come back to our topic, short-term loans, secured short-term loans. So here you are pledging one of your short-term asset and borrowing money. So if the borrower, if you default, means you don't pay the money in time, the lender of the money can take the security and sell it off and take back its money. Okay, so this type of a secured asset-based loans are dependent on how marketable the product is. So if it is a very easily marketable product, it is selling like hot cakes, such products are preferred. Then what is the life of that asset? Means is it perishable or you can it is having a shelf life? It is a perishable item. Even you get it as a security, it's no use because before you go and sell it, it will be waste, it will be decayed. Next is riskiness. So whether it is a seasonal product, whether there is a continuous demand of that product, based on that you can judge the riskiness. So we'll see about the different types of secured loans. So first type is accounts receivable backed loan. Now just now I have told you that accounts receivables means debtors or people who have bought assets from you but have delayed the payment maybe for a month or 15 days or 45 days. Okay, based on that. So it is one of the most liquid assets. So because the sale is already happened, they have promised to pay within a short period of time. So such trustworthy customers who pay you in time, their accounts receivable, you can keep it as a mortgage and take a loan from a bank at a lower interest rate. So the loan evaluations are made based on the quality of the product. As I told you, the shelf life, how old or new it is, whether it is rejected, is having a default or something like that. Then size. Size means small account. Say for example, some person has to give you only 10,000, 5,000. So the amount of that accounts receivable is small, then you will not get a loan. If it is a big amount and the customer is paying in time, you can handle it better. And because for a small amount, continuously calling the customer and saying pay, it will be very costly because the service charge will be more. So the bigger amount, the cost will reduce, and you don't feel bad even to continuously calling back the people. Then we have two types of accounts receivable backed loans. One is called as non-notification and other one is the notification. So here the non-notification means when you are taking a loan on that accounts receivable or that account or on that customer, you are not telling the customer that on whatever amount you are due to pay me, on that I am taking a loan from a bank. So you are not taking the confidence of the customer to whom you have sold the product on credit. So without notifying him that your account is secured as a loan, you pledge that account and take the loan, and directly whatever money that customer will pay you, it will go to the bank. So you're not notifying, not informing, we call it as non-notification. On the other hand, we have notification where you take the confidence of the customer and tell that his accounts is being secured. So whatever amount you pay, you have to pay it to the bank and not to me. Okay. So directly the customer is paying here to the bank. In non-notification, you don't tell him, so you receive the money, then you pay to the bank. But in notification, as you have informed the customer that on his account I've taken a loan, whatever the customer will pay, it will go directly to the bank. Second type of secured loans is inventory backed loans. So here I told you inventory means the stock of products in your warehouse, finished products which are ready to sell. So you want some emergency money, you can pledge your accounts inventory to the bank and get a loan. So here also the role evaluations are made on how marketable that product is. Means is it easy sellable, whether it is perishable, is its price changing up and down, is it a seasonal product, what is the difficulty in selling the product, or is it easily flowing product. Say for example you are having a dead stock in your inventory, that on that you can't get a loan because even the bank or the lender will know that it is not a fast moving product, and so it will be a waste giving a loan on such, because even in the case of default by the borrower, you can't sell it in the market because it is not sellable or it is a dead stock. So based on how good quality, is it marketable, whether it's perishable, its shelf life is more, price is stable or not, is it selling like hotcakes, is it having a constant sales, and also the cash flow ability of the customer, of the person who is taking the loan, is taking it into account before you give a loan or inventory. So types of inventory backed loans. So we have floating lien. Floating lien means as such you are not saying these particular or this particular group of products only I am going to take a loan. In general, any inventory, maybe the company is producing a number of products. So in general, the inventory in the warehouse is pledged. You're not specifically saying product A or product B. So in general, you are saying that this is the security given. Then chattel mortgage. Chattel mortgage means a lien on specifically identified personal property. Okay, so you are telling us this particular property or inventory only you are selling, giving a security as a backing for a loan. Then trust receipt. So trust receipt is a receipt which is acknowledgement that the borrower holds specifically identified inventory, means the bank is making a document and the borrower signs it and on that the details of the amount of the given loan, which inventory is pledged, all those things are written and it is given to the bank. So it is like a documentary evidence, a trust receipt. So that some amount which I have given for that, the company has secured some inventory, and based on that trust I am giving. So such a document is prepared, such is that is called as a trust receipt. And terminal warehouse receipt. So it is a receipt for the deposit of goods in a public warehouse. So when, say for example, the person who wants a loan is not having a warehouse, or even if he's having a warehouse, the bank wants it that it should be safely protected, it shouldn't weather out, or it shouldn't be, so a public warehouse, from a public warehouse, it should get a receipt that the inventory which is pledged to the bank is safely kept in a particular warehouse, public warehouse. Then next is factoring. So factoring is selling of receivables to a financial institutions. Now I told you about, so this is one more type of short-term finance. So I told you that secured loans where you pledge your inventory or accounts receivable to the bank. So you're just pledging, you're not selling. So in case you didn't pay, then they will take the thing. But here you are selling the receivables to a, here you are not selling inventory, here only receivables. So say for example, you as a company have sold products to some person and that person will pay you in 45 days. Okay. So within that 45 days, you can't wait, you want urgent money. So instead of keeping quiet, you go to the bank and transfer the accounts receivable. Means that person, the customer who has bought from you and will pay in 45 days, instead of you waiting, the bank will wait. Okay. So you are selling that to the bank, then the bank will give you money. Okay. So you get the money immediately and the bank will cut some interest from you and it will act as a collection agent for them. Okay, so a factor maintains a credit department and performs credit checks on accounts, allows firms. So whenever they are doing this, the bank, it is without recourse, means you can't sell it back to that person. So bank once sold, the deal cannot be reversed. So that is meaning of without recourse. So the bank will see that that customer, whoever has to pay, is a trustworthy customer, is pay in time. Okay, so it is a contract, like they are the agents who will collect it from the customers and the company will get immediate money deducting some amount of interest. So what are the factoring costs? So factor receives a commission. Now who is a factor? The bank who has paid you the amount and is waiting on behalf of you. So factor receives a commission on the face value of the receivables. It may be less than 1%. So it must be, typically it is less than 1% and it can be as much as 3% on the face value. Means say for example, 1 lakh amount is to be paid by the customer to you in 45 days. Now you're selling, because of urgency, you're selling it to the bank. So now the bank will wait for 45 days and collect the amount of 1 lakh. So on that 1 lakh, you have to pay maybe minimum 1,000, maximum 3,000 to the bank as a commission, because it is going to wait for the delay payment. So cash payment is usually made on the actual or average due date of the receivables. If the factor advances money to the firm, then the firm must pay interest on the advance. Okay, so if you are going to, so factoring happens, they can be like a commission collecting agent, or some, I told you, they give you advance money also. If the advance money is given, you're going to pay interest, that is the commission. And the total cost of factoring is composed of a factoring fee plus interest charge on cash advance. So they give you cash advance, then and there if you need amount, then you have to pay interest. Otherwise, you're just making them as a collection agent. You have to give them 1 to 3% of factoring cost, that is commission. Although expensive, it provides really worth because in emergency you can get the amount. So to sum up with, we'll talk about what is the composition of short-term financing. So short-term finance should be such that it shouldn't be very costly to the firm. The funds should be easily available and it should be available in time. There should be flexibility, means so whenever they want, they can change the timing. So based on how much large or small funds, there should be some flexibility. And degree to which the assets are encumbered, means based on your assets, if say the loan shouldn't be more than what you can pay, it should be such that you can handle the repayment of that short-term loan. So that's all about spontaneous and negotiated finances. So the next type of few other types of short-term financings we'll take up in our other class. So that's all for today. I hope you have enjoyed and understood it. So please comment, forward your queries, like, subscribe and comment to my channel so that you can get further notifications. So that's all for today. Bye. Thank you.